This video is about the alpha loved her courage but his pack called her weak. If this story captivates you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. The sun dipped low behind the emerald hills, casting long shadows over the dense forest surrounding the crescent moon pack. The air was thick with tension as the pack's members gathered near the ancient oak, a sacred site of rituals and decisions. At the heart of the gathering stood Alpha Dorian, his presence commanding, with a chiseled jaw and fierce amber eyes that seemed to possess the wisdom of the ages. Among the throng of restless wolves was Alara, an Omega with a spirit as fierce as any warrior. Her long, raven hair flowed like night, and her striking blue eyes sparkled with determination. Often underestimated, the pack whispered behind her back, calling her weak. But deep down, she felt an untamed force stirring, waiting for the right moment to break free. Dorian, we must discuss the new threat from the northern ridge. Jack, the beta, stepped forward, his voice dripping with authority. The rogues grow bolder, and our defenses wane. We need a show of strength. The members among the pack grew louder. They shifted uneasily, casting sidelong glances at Alara. She could feel their judgment like a cold wind against her skin. Yet she held her ground, refusing to let their disdain dim her inner flame. She caught Dorian's gaze, intense and unwavering. There was a silent understanding between them, a connection deeper than the hierarchy of their roles. I agree, Jack, Dorian replied, his tone steady. But we cannot rush into battle without considering all options. Alara has been scouting the area. Her insights could be invaluable. The pack fell silent, disbelief washing over their faces. A low growl escaped from one of the younger wolves, Kellen, who stood at the edge of the formation. You want to listen to her. She asked just an Omega. What could she possibly know about strategy? Alara's heart raced, but Dorian lifted a hand, silencing Kellen with a fierce glare. Courage comes in many forms, he said, his voice resonating through the clearing. Alara possesses a bravery that none of you have seen. Do not undermine her. Bravery or foolishness? Kellen shot back, his tone mocking. We can afford to risk the pack on her whim. Enough? Dorian's voice thundered, sending tremors through the ground. You will respect her. Then Alpha protects every member of the pack, not just those who are strong in body. Alara has proven her worth in ways you cannot comprehend. Alara felt her cheeks flush, a mix of gratitude and embarrassment overwhelming her. Dorian's faith in her ignited a fire within, yet uncertainty crept in. Would the pack ever accept her? Could she truly stand alongside him, with their hearts intertwined amidst such division? Alpha, we can ignore tradition, Jack interjected, his brow furrowing. Omegas are meant to care for the pack, not lead them into battle. Alara's throat tightened, the sting of rejection filling her chest. She had dreamed of being something more, of standing not behind but alongside her Alpha. Though she had always accepted her role, Dorian's belief in her made the prospect of unfulfilled potential unbearable. Tradition is a double-edged sword, Dorian replied, his expression resolute. It's time we challenged it. Alara, speak. The pack turned their gaze toward her. Alara swallowed hard but stepped forward, feeling both vulnerable and resolute. I may not be a warrior, but I've seen the rogues' movements. They are planning something, and the longer we wait, the more dangerous they become. A buzz of whispers erupted, but Alara pressed on, her voice rising above the noise. I know the forest, the hidden paths. I can help us strategize. For a heartbeat, hope flickered in Dorian's eyes, but Kellen's scornful laughter broke through. This is ridiculous. We trusting a weakling with our lives. What's next? Sending out our pups to fight? Dorian's features darkened. Enough, Kellen. This ends now. Alara is not weak. She embodies the courage we need to survive. The tension lingered in the air, thick and heavy. Alara's heart thudded loudly, torn between the thrill of Dorian's support and the weight of the pack's contempt. Could she truly earn their respect? As the gathering dissolved into heated arguments, Alara lingered behind, her heart aching. Dorian approached her, his gaze softening as he reached out. Don't let them get to you. Your strength is different, unique. The different isn't always valued, she replied, her voice trembling. I want to help, but I feel like a pariah. Then let me show you that you're not alone. Dorian's hand enveloped hers, warmth spreading through her like wildfire. Meet me at the grove tonight when the moon is high. We'll discuss strategies, just you and me. A rush of anticipation coursed through her. Will the others? Let me worry about them, he cut her off gently. You have a place here, Alara, and I will prove it. As Alara turned to leave, the finality of their moment hung in the air, her heart racing with possibilities. Could love flourish in the shadow of doubt? Would destiny unfold in ways she dared not imagine? As dusk settled over the forest, Alara made her way home, the woods buzzing with whispers of the night. The moon glowed brightly, a silver beacon illuminating her path. She longed for Dorian's presence, the warmth of his skin against hers, and the power of his unwavering belief. Hours later, the moon hung high, casting an ethereal glow upon the secluded grove. Alara's heart raced as she awaited Dorian, the rustling leaves whispering secrets into the night. She could feel the magic of the forest pulse around her, a reminder of the bond that tied her to the land and to Dorian. When he arrived, the world around her faded into insignificance. Dorian stepped into the clearing, his silhouette framed by the moonlight. "You came," he said, his voice low and rich with warmth. "I wouldn't miss it," Alara replied, her breath catching as she met his gaze. There was an intensity between them, a magnetic pull that drew her closer, igniting something deep within her. "Have you thought about our strategy?" he asked, stepping near. The scent of pine and wildflowers enveloped her, making her dizzy with longing. "I have," she admitted, her pulse quickening. "We need to gather intel, find out their plans. I can sneak past the border." "No," Dorian interrupted, a fierce protectiveness shadowing his features. "I want to risk you. You read too valuable to the pack." "Valuable? Or just a weakness?" Alara challenged, her voice barely above a whisper. "You know they see me as a burden. I can live like this, Dorian." In an instant, he closed the space between them, capturing her chin gently between his fingers. "I see you as a strength, as my mate, but this isn't just about us." The word mate struck like lightning, sending shivers down her spine. 1,000 unspoken feelings surged within her, a longing to belong, to be loved not in spite of her nature, but because of it. "Dorian," she breathed, searching his eyes for answers. "What if the pack never accepts me? What if they turn against you for standing by my side?" He brushed a thumb across her cheek, grounding her. "Then we'll forge our own path. I want to let their fear dictate our destiny. Together, we are stronger." In that moment, Alara felt the weight of the world shift. The winds of fate howled around them, a promise of battles yet to come, of challenges and betrayals that would test their bond. But she would not falter, not with Dorian at her side. "Let us show them what courage looks like," she whispered, sealing her vow with a determined sparkle in her eyes. Dorian's expression softened, his heart beating in sync with hers. Together always. As the moon bathed them in silver light, two souls destined to challenge the very fabric of their worlds stood united, ready to face whatever shadows lay ahead. The grove pulsed with the energy of the night, the silver moon a sentinel watching over the two figures grounded in uncertainty and destiny. Alara felt the cool breeze wrap around them, an intimate embrace filled with promise, yet tinged with the weight of their realities. As they stood there, Dorian's gaze bore into hers, a mixture of vulnerability and determination shining through. "You don't know how long I've waited for this moment," he murmured, the raw emotion threading between them like a lifeline. Alara's heart raced, a symphony of hope and fear playing in her chest. "And I don't know how to change their minds." Her voice trembled, the echo of the pack's scorn ringing in her ears. "I don't want to be the reason you re-challenge, the reason you lose respect." "Respect?" Dorian scoffed, shaking his head as if the very word tasted bitter on his tongue. "They fear what they don't understand. They fear you because you possess a strength they can see." His fingers brushed against her arm, igniting a fire within her. "And that is their mistake." Alara's breath hitched. "You believe in me, even when they don't?" "It's not about belief, it's about seeing the truth," he replied, his voice steady. "You are my mate, and mates are bound by destiny, not by the judgments of others. We'll find a way to show them." Alara's heart swelled, and a flicker of hope ignited within her. "But how?" Dorian stepped closer, lowering his voice to a husky whisper. "We'll gather our own intelligence. If we understand the rogues better than they do, we can leverage that knowledge to demonstrate your value to the pack." Alara's eyes lit up, the thrill of strategy igniting a sense of purpose within her. "That's brilliant. We can set traps, lay false trails. I can scout the northern border. They'll never see me coming." A smile broke across Dorian's face, a radiant light in the dark. "Exactly. You'll be the shadow they don't expect. But Alara," he paused, his expression shifting to summer, "you must promise me to be careful. I can lose you." The gravity of his words sent a shiver of fear through her. "I promise," she whispered, her heart aching with the reality of their bond. Love was powerful, but it was also perilous, especially in a world where acceptance was as elusive as the moonlight. As they plotted their course, the air hummed with the tension of unspoken desires. Alara caught Dorian's gaze, her breath hitching as their worlds collided in that single moment. "You make me feel brave, Dorian." Bravery is within you, he replied, his voice low and caressing. I merely help you uncover it. But before she could respond, a distant howl shattered the night, echoing through the forest like a warning bell. Dorian's expression hardened, and Alara's pulse quickened. That sounded like a rogue, he said, his demeanor shifting to the strategic alpha once more. We should investigate, Alara suggested, her instincts sharp and ready. The moment of vulnerability melted away, replaced by the urgency of their duty. Stay close, Dorian commanded, his tone brokering no argument. Would Auntie know how many there are? Alara nodded, adrenaline coursing through her veins as they weaved through the underbrush, the moonlight casting eerie shadows around them. The tension crackled like lightning in the air, a reminder of the danger that loomed just beyond the trees. As they approached the northern border, the scent of earth and pine mingled with something darker, something rotten in the wind. Alara's heart drummed a frantic rhythm in her chest, her senses tingling with unease. Dorian, wait, she urged, her instincts flaring. My sense. But before she could finish, a figure burst forth from the shadows, a rogue with eyes like chipped ice and a sneer that dripped with malice. Look what we have here, he taunted, glancing between Dorian and Alara. A lost alpha and his little omega. Dorian stepped forward, his stance solid and unwavering. You trespassing, he growled, a warning rumble that echoed through the woods. The rogue laughed, a cruel sound that made Alara's stomach twist. And what will you do about it? Call your pack to back you up? They'll never accept a weakling like her. You're wasting your time. I do not speak to her that way, Dorian warned, his voice low and threatening. But Alara didn't let fear consume her. She stepped beside Dorian, feeling the surge of courage rise within her. I am not weak, she declared, her voice steady as she faced the rogue. I'll prove it. The rogue's eyes widened with surprise, and for a fleeting moment Alara saw the flicker of fear. You prove what? She sneered. You read just an omega. You'll always be beneath the true wolves. Dorian's protective growl rumbled, but Alara raised her hand. No, Dorian, let me handle this. She could feel the power of the forest coursing through her veins, the ancient magic that pulsed beneath the earth. Go on, then, the rogue scoffed, his arrogance palpable. Show me what you're made of. With a deep breath, Alara focused her energy, channeling everything she had learned from the forest and the connection she felt with Dorian. The air thickened with palpable magic, and she felt the surrounding trees respond, their energy merging with her own. You underestimate me, Alara said, her voice low and fierce. But you will learn. The rogue lunged, but Alara was ready. She sidestepped with agility, feeling the rush of the wind as she pulled the energy around her, twisting it into a shield. The rogue crashed into it, stumbling backward, shock flickering across his face. You are strong, he growled, annoyance flooding his voice. But you'll never be one of them. Alara held her ground, determination lighting her spirit. I am who I choose to be, and I refuse to let your words define me. With a swift motion, she sent a pulse of energy through the ground, creating a tremor that knocked the rogue off balance. Dorian watched in awe, his heart swelling with pride for her courage. Alara, he shouted, urging her on. The rogue regained his footing, eyes blazing with fury. You think this makes you strong? You'll never be accepted in your pack. Acceptance starts with me, Alara shouted back, her voice ringing with conviction. And I will not back down, he re-echoed, hiding behind a facade of superiority. In a flash of movement, she launched herself forward, channeling all her power into a single strike. The rogue staggered back, shock painting his face as he crashed against the trees, the magic rebounding against him. You should be thought twice, she hissed, a fierce pride swelling within her. The rogue turned tail and fled into the shadows, howls of defeat trailing behind him. Dorian rushed to her side, his eyes wide with admiration. You did it, you stood your ground. Alara's chest heaved, exhilaration coursing through her. I didn't back down, I proved I am not just an omega. His hands cupped her face, and in that moment, the world faded away. You are so much more than that. The intensity of his gaze ignited a fire in her heart. You are incredible. But before they could revel in their victory, a chorus of howls erupted nearby, echoing through the trees a warning from the pack. We need to get back, Dorian said, urgency sweating through his voice. They'll find out what happened. Alara nodded, her heart racing as they dashed back toward the grove, the adrenaline still singing in her veins. But as they approached the heart of the pack, doubt crept in. Would they accept her now? The pack gathered, eyes wide with a mixture of fear and awe. Jack stepped forward, his expression a tempest of emotions. What happened? His gaze flicked between Alara and Dorian. And why is there rogue blood on your hands? Alara took a deep breath, ready to face their scrutiny, but Dorian stepped forward, his presence commanding. We were ambushed, Alara fought bravely and drove the rogue away. Gasps rippled through the crowd, disbelief etched on their faces. She fought, an Omega? Kellen's voice dripped with skepticism, but Alara stood tall. Yes, I did, she declared, the weight of their judgment no longer pressing down on her. And I will keep fighting for our pack, I am not weak. The murmurs began, the pack's uncertainty palpable. Jack narrowed his eyes. But can we trust her, Alpha? Dorian's expression hardened. Alara has proven herself, she deserves your respect, and I will not tolerate further disrespect toward my mate. Then, mate? Kellen stammered, horror crossing his face. Yes, Dorian affirmed, his voice crisp and unwavering. The tension in the clearing was palpable. Whispers of disbelief and skepticism rippled through the Crescent Moon pack as they processed Dorian's declaration. Alara felt the weight of every gaze, each one heavy with doubt and lingering resentment. Your asterisk me asterisk. Kellen's voice trembled, edged with disdain. You truly believe an Omega can lead? This is madness. She is a liability, and you're re-risking the pack's future with your foolishness. Alara's heart sank, the old wounds of her judgments opening anew. But Dorian stepped forward, his presence a shield against their hostility. You will respect her, Kellen. You will respect the bond we share, whether you understand it or not. The intensity of his words ignited a flicker of hope within her, a reminder of the unyielding faith he had in her. I fought for this pack tonight, Alara declared, her voice ringing clear and steady amidst the chaos. I will continue to fight, not just for my place, but for all of ours. Fight for what, exactly? Jerk challenged, skepticism etched into his features. What can Omega offer that Aurora cannot? A collective murmur of agreement echoed through the pack. Alara's heart raced, the weight of their disbelief pressed down on her, but she drew strength from Dorian's unwavering gaze. I offer a new perspective, a different kind of strength, she replied, the words spilling forth with raw emotion. I know the forest, its secrets, and its magic. I can see threats they cannot. Magic? Kellen scoffed. You think your little spells can protect us? You're deluding yourself. Dorian stepped forward, his aura fierce and commanding. Alara's connection to the forest is not a trivial thing, Kellen. It is a gift. She has powers that none of you have yet begun to understand. And yet here we stand, a rogue attacking right at our borders, Kellen retorted, his voice laced with disdain. You were blinded by your feelings, Alpha. Enough. Dorian's voice boomed through the clearing, silencing the murmurs. I will not allow you to mock what you do not comprehend. Alara is not just my mate, she represents hope. Hope that we can break free from the chains of tradition that bind us. Alara's heart swelled at his words, an ember of courage igniting within her. You all see me as weak, but I am not defined by your perceptions. I asterisk am asterisk capable. If you let me, I can help us turn the tide against the rogues. Jerk's brow furrowed, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. But how do we know she won't turn against us? How do we trust in Omega? A chill swept through the clearing as doubts began to resurface. Alara's breath caught in her throat. She could sense the undercurrents of fear and mistrust swirling around her. Because, she said, her voice steady, I am not a traitor. I asterisk love asterisk this pack. I love asterisk all asterisk of you, despite how you've treated me. Kellen's eyes narrowed, his expression a blend of anger and confusion. Love, you think that will protect you? That will keep you safe when the rogues come for us? Alara felt the sting of his words. No, but it gives me the strength to fight for you, she replied, her voice rising with passion. I am prepared to sacrifice for this pack. I just need you to believe in me. Dorian stepped closer to her, his hand brushing against hers, grounding her amidst the whirlwind. We will earn their trust together, he promised, his voice low and fervent. No matter the cost. The air crackled with unresolved tension as the pack exchanged glances, weighing their options. Alara's pulse raced. She needed them to understand. Let me prove myself. Allow me to scout the northern border again and gather intel. I'll show you all that I am more than just an Omega. Silence stretched thick as fog, and Alara fought to keep the tremor from her voice. If I fail, then you can cast me out, but if I succeed, will you finally see me as an equal? Dorian's gaze met hers, a silent promise lingering in the depths of his amber eyes. You're already my equal, Alara, no matter what they think. Very well, Jerk finally conceded, his tone clipped but surrendering. You will have your chance, Alara, but you will have no support. If you fail, you face the consequences alone. Alara nodded, determination coursing through her veins. I understand, and I will not fail. As the pack dispersed, Dorian's hand found hers, and she felt the warmth of his touch wrap around her heart like a lifeline. "You are incredible, Alara," he whispered, his breath warm against her skin. "They will see it too." "Do you really think so?" she asked, a flicker of vulnerability breaking through her confidence. "I fear they'll never accept me, no matter what I do." "Then we'll change their minds," Dorian bowed, his voice a fierce promise. "We were meant to challenge tradition, to rewrite the narrative of what it means to be strong." The weight of their unspoken fears lingered between them, a tension heavy with unresolved emotions. "I don't want to be the reason you re-challenged," Alara confessed, her heart aching with the reality of their bond. "If they turn against you, I couldn't bear it." The asterisk will not dictate our future. We write our own destiny," he replied, pulling her closer, their foreheads touching. The connection felt electric, the air around them pulsing with magic. As they broke apart, the moon shone brightly above, illuminating their path as Alara prepared for her mission. She would prove her worth, not just for herself, but for the love that burned fiercely between them. The next day, as dawn painted the sky with hues of gold and crimson, Alara set out toward the northern border. The forest hummed with life, the magical energy swirling around her, urging her forward. Each step felt like a leap of faith, a push against the judgment she had faced for so long. Navigating the dense underbrush, she recalled the secrets Dorian had shared with her, the hidden trails, the unseen paths that whispered of safety. As she approached the border, the scent of earth and pine mingled with the faint traces of rogue territory. Alara crouched low, her heart racing as she scanned the area. The air grew thick with tension, a warning that danger was near. She closed her eyes for a moment, focusing on the forest's pulse, drawing strength from its ancient magic. Suddenly, a rustle in the bushes snapped her attention. She crouched lower, heart pounding, as two rogues materialized, their eyes glinting with malice. This was her moment. She needed to gather information to understand their plans. "Do you think they'll send that weakling Omega?" one rogue sneered, his voice dripping with contempt. "A pathetic little thing like her, she'll never see our strength coming." Alara's heart raced, fury igniting within her. She gathered her energy, feeling the magic thrumming beneath her feet. "I am not weak," she whispered to herself, channeling the power of the forest. "I will show them." With a surge of determination, she launched herself forward, using the energy around her to create an illusion of her presence, a shadow that flickered between the trees. The rogues looked around, confusion replacing their arrogance. "Did you see that?" the one asked, eyes darting around, fear creeping into his voice. "It's just the wind," the other scoffed, but Alara could see the tremor in his hands. The time was now. With focused energy, she conjured a series of whispers, voices echoing through the woods, creating a sense of disarray. "Alara will come for you," the whispers taunted, swirling like a tempest. "You will not escape her wrath." The rogues exchanged glances, panic setting in as they turned and fled into the trees. Alara felt their fear wash over her, a rush of exhilaration coursing through her. She had done it. She had proven herself capable. But as she turned to make her way back to the pack, a sharp pain pierced her shoulder. A rogue had circled back, a growl erupting from him as he lunged at her. "You thought you could escape?" Alara barely had time to react, instinct taking over as she summoned her magic, crafting a barrier around her. The rogue slammed against it, but the force of his blow knocked her back, pain radiating through her body. "No," she gasped, struggling to keep her focus. This was not how it was supposed to end. She had to get back to Dorian. With every ounce of strength she could muster, she pushed against the barrier, focusing her energy until it shattered, sending a wave of magic that knocked the rogue off his feet. But in the chaos, she felt her balance falter, her body crumpling to the ground as exhaustion washed over her. As Alara crumpled to the forest floor, the world around her spun in a dizzying blur. The magic she had wielded so fiercely now ebbed from her fingertips, leaving a heavy exhaustion that settled deep in her bones. She felt the sharpness of the rogue's gaze, the sneer on his lips twisted with triumph and malice. "Look at you," he taunted, his voice a low growl, the weak little Omega, brought to her knees. "He thought you could play with the big wolves. This is what you get for crossing into our territory." A surge of anger ignited within her, a flame flickering against the shadows of doubt. "I am not weak," she rasped, forcing the words out despite the pain coursing through her shoulder. "You will see." With a burst of energy, she summoned the forest's magic once more, but the rogue lunged at her, his form a blur in the moonlight. As he approached, her instincts kicked in, and she rolled aside, narrowly evading his claws. She scrambled to her feet, heart racing, the weight of her mission hammering against her resolve. Just as she regained her footing, another rogue appeared from the shadows, their eyes glinting with menace. "You should be stayed hidden, little Omega," he sneered, stepping closer, their confidence now palpable. "You are outnumbered." The world around her blurred, shadows creeping in as despair threatened to drown her. But then, as if sensing her struggle, she felt a warm pulse of energy at her side. The connection to Dorian, her alpha, her mate, surged through her like a lifeline. "Focus, Lara," she whispered to herself, feeling the magic of the forest respond to her call. "You have to fight." In that moment of clarity, she summoned the forest's essence, feeling the tree's strength, the earth's heartbeat. The air crackled around her as she conjured an illusion, twisting shadows that mirrored her movements, creating duplicates that danced with her. "Look," one rogue shouted, eyes wide with confusion. "There are two of her." "Don't be a fool," the other barked, though his voice trembled as he glanced around, unsure of which figure was the real Alara. "Get her." Using their uncertainty to her advantage, Alara directed her shadows to rush forward, momentarily disorienting the rogues. She dashed into the underbrush, feeling her heart pound with each step, adrenaline coursing through her as she propelled herself deeper into the forest. But the pain in her shoulder throbbed, a relentless reminder of the danger that lingered behind her. With each step, she could hear the growls, their determination to hunt her down. "You can't hide forever," one called after her, laughter echoing cruelly through the trees. Alara pushed herself harder, her breath coming in strained gasps as she fought against her fatigue. "Not now," she murmured, gritting her teeth against the pain. "You can do this, you can do this." Suddenly, a figure leaped from the shadows, blocking her path. It was Dorian, his presence like a beacon of light amid her darkness. "Alara," he shouted, urgency lacing his voice. "What happened?" "I was ambushed," she breathed, her heart soaring at the sight of him, the warmth of his aura wrapping around her like a protective shield. "Two rogues, I used my magic, but His eyes darkened as realization dawned upon him. "We need to move, where are they?" "They reached close, But before she could finish, the sound of crashing branches echoed in the distance. The rogues were closing in. "Stay behind me," Dorian commanded, his voice a low growl, radiating authority. Alara felt his presence strengthen her resolve, a reminder of the bond they shared that had fueled her courage. "Dorian, we can just run," she insisted, the fire in her heart igniting once more. "I can help. They need to see my strength." "Let us not make our stand here," he replied, scanning the trees, muscles coiled with tension. "We'll use the advantage of the forest. We can trap them." "No asterisk, but asterisk. Trust me, Alara." His amber eyes locked onto hers, fierce and unwavering. "We need to move smart, not recklessly." She nodded, following the urge to argue. His faith in her felt like a balm over the wounds of doubt, granting her clarity. "All right, lead the way." Together, they slipped deeper into the heart of the forest, weaving through the trees as whispers of the ancient magic surrounded them. Dorian's instincts guided them, and as they moved, Alara felt the energy of the woods respond to their presence, a quiet hum resonating with their shared purpose. "There," he said suddenly, pointing to a narrow ravine flanked by thick foliage. "We can set a trap. If they follow us, they'll be caught." Alara felt a surge of excitement, the thrill of strategy igniting within her. "I can create illusions again, make them think they have us cornered." "Exactly," Dorian replied, his pride in her evident. "Let us use their arrogance against them." As they prepared the trap, Alara focused her energy, channeling the magic that flowed through the forest. Shadows gathered around her, swirling with purpose as she summoned the power of the land. She wove together illusions, creating false paths that would lure the rogues into their snare. "Ready?" Dorian asked, tension radiating from him. Alara met his gaze, feeling the weight of their bond strengthening her resolve. "Ready." With a final glance exchanged, they concealed themselves behind the thick trees, hearts pounding as they waited. The tension was palpable, electricity crackling in the air, and Alara squeezed Dorian's hand, grounding herself. From the darkness, the two rogues emerged, eyes scanning the surroundings with malicious intent. "They must be gone this way," one growled, his confidence unyielding. "Let us finish this." Alara took a deep breath, focusing her magic. "Now," she whispered, and Dorian nodded, both of them stepping into the open, their presence a beacon. "Here we are," she called, her voice echoing through the trees, confident and fierce. The rogues froze, surprise momentarily clouding their features. "Don't let them trick you," the first rogue shouted, but Alara felt the power of the forest swell around her, the magic rising to meet her call. With a flash of energy, she unleashed her illusion, weaving shadows that danced before the rogues, creating multiple images of herself and Dorian. "You will not escape," echoed through the trees, her voice layered and powerful. The rogues faltered, confusion washing over them as Alara's magic enveloped them. "What? No, which one is the real one?" "Get them!" the second rogue screamed, but panic had already begun to take hold. "Ah!" Dorian commanded, and together they charged forward, the energy of the forest at their backs, pushing them onward. Alara felt the adrenaline surge as they fought, the rogue's arrogance turning to fear as they realized the true strength of their opponents. The first rogue lunged toward Alara, but Dorian intercepted him, their bodies colliding with a forceful crash. Alara's breath caught in her throat as she watched Dorian's strength overwhelm the rogue, their fight a deadly dance of agility and power. "Don't underestimate me," she shouted, channeling her energy once more. With a wave of her hand, she sent a pulse of magic that enveloped the rogue, binding him in place with shimmering light. "You retrapped." As the rogue struggled against her magic, Alara felt the weight of her earlier doubts lifting, replaced by the thrill of triumph. "This is what strength looks like," she declared, her voice steady and fierce. Dorian turned to her, his eyes alight with admiration. "You did it, Alara, together." But the second rogue, fueled by fury, charged at her. "You'll pay for this," he roared, his claws slicing through the air. A spark of fear ignited within her, but Dorian was there, pushing her aside just in time. "No, get back," he shouted, his body a protective shield. Alara felt the impact of the rogue's fury as Dorian slammed into him, their bodies crashing against the trees. She couldn't let him fight alone. Drawing on the energy of the forest, she summoned magic, weaving it around her like an armor. "Dorian," she cried, desperation filling her voice. "I am here." With a surge of power, she unleashed a wave of energy that knocked the rogue off balance, giving Dorian the opening he needed. He retaliated with fierce determination, his strength unmatched as he brought the rogue to his knees. But before they could secure their victory, the first rogue, still riding against her bindings, let out a furious howl. "You'll pay for this. Little Omega, you think you can protect him. Your pack will never accept you." "Enough," Alara shouted, stepping forward, the power of her magic flaring to life. "I will protect what is ours with everything I have. You will not threaten my mate or my pack." The rogue's eyes widened as she chatted.